so that it also helps protect from down there, as well as kind of catching the birds. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got a fair amount of protection from anything that chooses to come down the stairs for whatever reason. We've still got some protection from the birds, not 100%, but we have some. And we've got lots of coverage in this direction as well. Now I gotta make up for the fact that it's not perfect coverage from the birds. So what we're gonna do, let's go back to our trusty Squire builder. And we know that the birds are coming from out there. Now note, with Squire Tower, oh, I totally chose the wrong one. With Squire Towers, you want your you want it to be kind of lined up with the flight path. Otherwise it won't attack effectively. Now I'm just going to throw down a fireball tower since I'm too lazy to change it. So what I'm doing here is a couple things. Pretend that could have been a harpoon, just so you know. I'm going to place this so that it can shoot any enemy units that are coming from this ramp, as well as the birds. Now the problem is, if I have an ogre come down, if I have little guys come down here, whatever, not the end of the world. But if I have an ogre come down here, then I'm in trouble. But even little guys can get past my auras. So this one will be able to deal with them, and the ogre will stand here and he'll swing at this tower and attack it, because it'll be attacking him, and it will be out of range of the crystal. That's important. We don't want this tower to be within range of the crystal when it's getting smacked by an ogre. Now the other thing too is minions can kind of help shoot anything that's coming down here, as well as shoot the air. So we really don't need to overcommit too much there. And we can spend extra defenses elsewhere as needed. But I will need a reflect beam there, as well as try and get a buff beam out. Because we do like our stuff to be buffed whenever possible. But then again, don't forget, the odd time if you just have one thing on a buff beam, it's not really worth it. Not always anyways. Okay, let's try there for a reflect aura. Okay, whoa, did the mage actually get hit by that? No, it didn't, okay. And right now we haven't seen any other weak points specifically in the build that need to be patched up. Now note, even if we had made the harpoon, we still would have 1 DU left over, so that's good. And of course, move you onto the buff beam since it's there. That should still easily be within healing range. And now what we're going to also do is this wall doesn't actually need any more units on it. This wall is tight. Nothing will slip through there, so I don't need to put the spider on there. So I'll put the spider back here, that way it can attack a lot more stuff, as well as not get clubbed as easily by ogres. But I just am going to inch you forward. Yep, okay, I'm going to inch these guys forward just to make sure that's still out of range of ogre clubs. Now, here, once again, oops. It's kind of starting to look like it would be useful to have a buff beam here, just so that way I can buff all the minions I'm going to be placing down here. Because I'm going to once again place the spider down here rather than up there. Well, actually, you know what? The spider should range from here to there, so that's what I will do. And right here, I'll just put the spider right on the wall, I guess. I could put him down here. Sure, start down there for now. And then up here, we'll do the same thing. Spider doesn't need to go on the wall, so I won't put him on the wall. I only put the spider on the wall if I need to. Really. It's... I don't know. That's just me. You can put them on the wall, but I just prefer not to if they don't need to go on there. Okay. Okay, so make sure the mage is still buffed. Yes, it is. That's a little more essential just to make sure it can reach all of the minions, even though I'm pretty sure it can. And you know what? I've got some extra MU left, so I am going to build one archer here just to help protect that better. And where else? Let's see. I saw ogres attack here. Well, let's see, this area. Could use another one. Sure, why not? Another archer to help it versus the ogres. To kill them a little bit faster. Ah, come on. Let's see, down here, how's the firepower doing? Sure, we could use another one. There we go. Here we've got lots. Here, sure, why not? Let's use another one. Even though we do have a fair amount of towers attacking as well. Okay, there we go. Got all of our minions done. Now let's figure out where those goblin choppers come from, because they are going to be a pain. As well as let's figure out where any other deficiencies are. So I'm just going to use the map view right now. Okay, I see a goblin chopper coming down this way. Is it going to be a threat to anything down here from the looks of things? No. Oh, the ogre did come down here though. But I don't know if that's because I was standing there. Nope, the ogres do like to path down there. So that is definitely going to be an issue that we need to solve. Okay. So far I have not noticed any other choppers, although I might have missed them. But that's definitely something we need to look at fixing as soon as possible. Oh, I just see a chopper coming towards the main crystal there. So that's going to need to be fixed, as I really doubt I have anything that can kill it before it lands. No, nothing. So he is able to successfully land. The aura kind of covers it though. The aura will definitely help there. But looks like as if we found... So far it looks like we found all the ogre chopper spawns. If anything came from over there and came here, it would not matter. And why is that crystal under attack? I don't know. Birds got a little too close somehow. So maybe one harpoon with one archer will not be sufficient to that crystal, so we're going to have to look at redesigning that. Now, pretty much I've seen ogres coming to all of the places. So now we got a couple interesting options here. First one is ogre choppers. Ogres drop from choppers never damage crystals when they attack them. They do not. So we don't really, as long as regular ogres never come down here, we're going to be fine not having that fireball where it is. What would be nice is to actually kill the choppers before they even land. So far we don't see any. Whatchamacallit, normal guys. Any normal ogres passing down there. I don't even see regular monsters passing down there. So I'm gonna guess that they only path down there if like you are standing there and they're like, oh my god, yes, we can go there. Okay, so we've kind of figured out pretty much everything about this map that we need to. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle a few things around. So I'm going to have to sell the buff beam, otherwise the ores won't fit in their new location. Okay, just to point out, let's see how well this worked. Hit dark energy just a tiny bit. Okay, so we can definitely move it over, as long as we're not moving it back too much. Although we are moving it back just a tiny bit. Ah, no, a lot! Oh, that's because this other aura is still buffed. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving this so that it's going to be hitting the choppers as they're flying in to deal as much damage as possible. Now, we figured out we could afford to move them down here, but it won't let us. Oh well. Oh. You know what? I should sell all those buff beams. go. This is going to make my life just a little bit easier for building this. Actually, you know what? Let's keep it up here. Okay, now I'm not really wanting to move this aura at all. This aura stack here. I could, but I don't really want to. That's not... I still want it to be able to defend from little trash mobs if they choose to path down here, just in case. It's got pretty good coverage against the other attack spawns. So I'm going to do something else to try and deal with those ogre choppers better in that area. Now, I could turn these harpoons around and have them shoot that way. It just means I can't shoot both walls at the same time. Or I can put them here, and then that way they can still shoot ogre choppers. I can put all my minions on a buff beam, blah 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 blah. I'll probably end up doing that. Also, this crystal, gonna have to figure out something here that I can do to make sure the birds don't get at it. Do this one, perfectly fine, nothing's changed, don't know why I am there. Swap. No, I almost picked the wrong one again. So used to using mage towers now. Okay, so I've decided why not change this, just because it would be beneficial with being able to put the mage minions. Okay, so let's build these as far back as possible so that I've got the greatest chance of hitting both walls. I don't think it's gonna work though. No. No chance in hell. Okay, so they don't need to be built as far back as possible. So I'm going to have one fire at that wall while being able to hit the choppers, and the other one will fire at... oh, that's too close, damn it. The other one will fire at the other wall. Now my DU is not quite as efficient because I can't have two harpoons shooting at one wall at once. Only one at each. For this now... ah, sold an aura. That was a pain. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to try and be able to shoot the choppers down before they become a problem. So this build, this is going to be a little tricky because one, I don't want the tower that I build to be in range of an ogre club on this wall. I want it to still be able to shoot here, and I also want it to be kind of in the same flight path as the wyverns. But I don't want the rare chance that an ogre comes from down there, a real ogre, and smashes my tower, and while doing so, obliterates the crystal. I'm going to try here. I really don't think this will work too well just because it's not shooting sort of in line with the flying birds or anything. Yeah, I really don't like that. It doesn't really... my only concern though is the ogre is coming from down there, and then this. If it weren't for the potentials of spiders, I'd just like put it right here. Be like, ah! Now none of you can get it, except they can. Well, you know what? I'm gonna try here anyways. As ogres, I don't think... I think they can club that. Yeah, they can. Pressed up against the crystal. Darn it! That can be tricky. What about here? They're right stuck on all this stuff. Ugh. I think it's just out of range. So let's hope it is. Okay. Harpoon, harpoon, harpoon. Swap hero, let's get back to the buffs and stuff. Now, is there anywhere that I built extra reflex? Okay, choppers don't really attack here, so I'm going to get rid of that buff, even though it can be very useful against ogres and other stuff. Let's see now. Okay, that's a little bit far, but that's still safely out of ogre range. Oh, come on. No, that would be a bad idea to use a 5 buff. 5 BU. Okay, so there we go. I don't know if... Oh, this looks pretty iffy right here. Yeah, that looks kind of like it's going to be out of mage healing range, so I might need to move that wall down just a tiny bit, which really sucks. Okay, there we go. That's been moved. Don't need to fix anything up there right now. Oh, right, need to re-add this one. Can't get away with any less than 5, sadly. Ah, and I need to rebuild an aura here as well. Okay, since we know ogre choppers have the potential to come from here, we definitely need a reflect beam. Defend that. And of course we had some problems up at that other crystal, which I got a couple options for trying to solve that. I'm going to, for now, just try another reflect beam right here. At the moment I don't have enough for another buff beam, although I could potentially just take a buff off somewhere else. That's not something I really want to do. Okay, let's rebuild that. Now look at that, we're pretty maxed out on everything, but what I might do, if that area is still a problem, I've got a couple options here. Is either I'm going to have a ethereal spike trap right here because they actually have a trigger box that's up in the air, so flying things can trigger them, or I'm going to find a way to put a buff beam there, or even further still, I'll put some form of an aura, like an ensnare. But the problem with ensnare is it's elemental. Some of the wyverns have elemental resistances, and some of them will get through, so not super effective. So I'm thinking spike trap or buff beam are the best two options. Of course, I can always move an extra minion over there from somewhere else. So now we're just going to see how well this modified, how well our changes work out. I'm not worried at all about the ogre choppers for this area. Oh, I forgot to move all the minions. Put them back on these buffs. That's not the end of the world. That's not the important thing that I forgot to move them. This area, I'm pretty sure that there's not much I can change there. I really wouldn't want to make it too much weaker, considering ogres do come there. This little area right here, same thing. This whole area looks pretty solid now to me. Oh, they're shooting the flares. Yay! Towers shoot flares. Forgot about that. So anyways, but I'm not worried about that chopper. I'm more worried about this area. This is the one area I feel the weakest. The only thing... See, look at that. Oh, there we go. They killed the chopper anyways, but their aiming's bad when it's not flying right into them. So this is kind of cool. So far this is working out. Of course, I don't know what will happen if a regular ogre ever ends up coming down here. I guess the other option is you could try and free up a couple DU and just build a physical wall here. And that would definitely make it really safe against any potential. Sweet. And that's being taken out pretty effectively, and I love the fact that for now it's dropping on the low ground. That's even better. You fatso, why'd you just hit me? Anyways, so the only thing kind of left to do is, the only thing to really refine this build is a couple things. You know, obviously we can look at scrapping some DU to build a wall here, just sort of as a precaution. We can look into how do we defend that other crystal better from the birds. Although for now that reflect beam is holding, but for how long? So the biggest thing is, where can we shave stuff off? Now, I really don't want to take out this trap here at all, just because the auras are so far back. I don't feel like that'd be a good idea. I don't want to take out a minion because I don't have a regular tower attacking the ogres that come from here. So this area is kind of already on the weak side. It's one area I'll definitely want to boost up. Now this area, maybe it's not worth having the aura right here. You know, like this ore stack, it's a lot of stuff for units that gets kind of stuck in one area. In this area, it might be better just to have something very basic. So maybe I can scrap one or two of the ores right here. Probably that lightning ore really doesn't need to be there. Probably should just have a fire trap. You know, strength drain aura probably still needed. I think ogres come from there. I really haven't paid too much attention, but okay. Good to know spiders get stuck on that wall potentially. This area, let's see. I don't really like taking out the strength drain aura to replace with a darkness trap, just because the range is much smaller on the darkness trap, and the ogres will be hitting these guys, so it means that they'll take more damage if I don't have strength drain. Ensnare potentially could take out, but it really wouldn't do too much. The only reason why I'd take out Ensnare is if I put down a proximity mine trap here. Even then, taking out Ensnares I'm not a big fan of. So I don't know, I could definitely remove a minion from here because I do have the harpoon that's able to fire. I've got the spider, so definitely I could take an archer out of there and reposition it. Got a couple of stuck spiders on the maps from the look of things. And here, I think these archer minions, if they're not busy with anything on their end, they should easily be able to attack and help defend this one. So I could definitely look into maybe making that a little bit weaker. So far, not much in the way of actual defense units yet, though, other than that one area with auras. And once again here, really not too much I could say. The only option is swap out the lightning aura for something else. I don't really need the lightning aura to cover against spiders and stuff. The harpoon plus this 2 minions here will easily deal with spiders. So really, in this case, I could swap out the lightning for something else like proximity mine or inferno trap. Especially with the gas there already. Nothing really would get through there. So yeah, those are some of the ways I could potentially save some defense units or minions and reposition them into areas such as this to defend this area better. I hope you guys learned a lot about kind of the thought process that goes into building maps. So I just want to kind of reiterate a few things. So first of all, you have to figure out where all of the minions are coming from. So where are the minions coming from? Where are they trying to attack? So you can build your defenses around there. When you're dealing with a lot of auras, the way I like to cover things with auras plus a reflect beam here or there, you don't even have to worry about spiders. They pretty much, you still have to watch, you still have to look at your build and see are things getting webbed up, but probably things won't be getting webbed up. You don't have to specifically try and kill spiders in most places because, for that reason, you know, you've got the auras killing it, and then if you've got reflex, you know, they'll spend their time trying to web it, it'll bounce off, and then the aura kills them. And as I said, the other option, of course, is building proximity mine traps, which can be a big waste of DU, though, if that's all it's doing is killing a couple spiders. Then, once you've done that, your basic build where you've kind of blocked off the choke points that are needed, then you look at where the Wyvern Flight Pass, where the Goblin Choppers coming from, or Ogre Choppers, whatever you want to call them. You look at where are those different choppers coming from. So once you've done that, you account for that, you kind of shift your build to where the chopper's coming from, where the air is coming from, and at the same time, you're also going to want to accommodate your build for what areas did I build, you know, overbuild. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys Tavern Defence, and because this map is a really good example of how you can really change your defenses around to suit where the enemies are coming from. I wanted to keep this under an hour, but it definitely won't be now that I'm including a quick demo on Tavern Defence, but that's okay. You guys are probably just playing survival mode or some other form of Dungeon Defenders as we talk anyways, right? I know that's what I'd be doing. So I already know how to build this map, so I'm not going to explain anything. This map's really simple. We really don't have to worry too much about air, because, well, it's such a small map. Air just comes towards the crystal on the outside. That's really all that happens. You don't have to specifically plan for it the way you do with Glitterhelm. So that's why I took all that time in picking glitter. So you kind of might be wondering at this point, what the hell am I doing inside of the tavern here? Ugh! Ow! Damn you. Whatever, I'll just buff you first. This is going to be a very, very good example of not overcommitting to an area. One thing that I see a lot of players do when they build Tavern Defence is the single inside path that comes into the tavern they overcommit on. So the direction that I'm facing right now, this direction here, a lot of people overbuild these defenses. Not much comes from there. Sharkin is the hardest enemy that comes from there. Not a single Jinn comes from there, nothing. Oh, I can almost fit it on a 5. Oh. Oh, I totally fit it on a 5. Sweet. Oh, no, looks like I might have just missed it. Damn it! I have to waste some more mana. A lot more mana. So what I'm doing here is I'm buffing stuff onto a buff beam. Let's see if it catches. Ah, sweet, it all caught. Okay. So it does definitely waste mana, but it's a fun little trick to shave off 1 or 2 defense units, which in this map it's really not going to matter, but in some maps it definitely does. Okay, so I'm not actually going to build the whole map and show you guys. I will just explain what is going to happen. Ah, that one was supposed to be 5. Ignore that. Just get lazy. I just want to give you guys kind of a skeleton of my build, just so you can kind of compare it against others. Obviously these reflex would be built a lot better, so that you're not wasting DU and so that they're better placed. Okay, so what we're going to have here is on the outside, we are going to have a minion wall covering this side. We're going to have a minion wall covering this side, and a minion wall covering this side. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to put all archers on here, 1 spider plus archers on here, and then we're going to put 2 spider minions, a mage minion, a mage minion, a mage minion, a mage minion, and a whole bunch of towers on this buff beam. So what that's going to do is, most of the ogres come from here, second most amount comes from here, and the least amount comes from here. So we're going to have the majority of our towers focused so that they can fire this lane and this lane. So we're going to cover the 2 most populated areas. What happens here is you can either build 5 harpoon towers or 6 fireball towers, even 7 if you're crazy. And you're going to face 2 of them so that they cover these 2 attack paths, and then you're going to face the other 3 or 4 so that they cover these 2, because more comes from here. Also, you're going to have less minions on this wall because less units come from there, and we're going to have the most minions on there and there. Now the mage minions, I never like putting them on my main wall. This buff beam, you're going to have the spider be able to hit these guys and these guys. This one will have its own spider, and the mage minions here can heal the front wall. This one can heal the side wall, and this one can also heal the side wall potentially if you place it right, which you're supposed to. This one can heal both walls, and this one can heal this side wall. So that's how all of that balances out. Outside we got the 1 big aura, we got the gas for a lot of Jinn that come from there. You can also gas here if you have the extra. So that's how we plan the outside based on the strength of the enemies and where they're coming from. Now inside, if you stand outside, Jinn will ignore the inside even when it's fully upgraded. So what do we have here? We have a darkness trap because it's less DU than a strength drain aura. And we don't have ogres attacking any sort of towers in here, so we can get away without it. Also, we don't have flying things like birds, so we don't need the additional range of the strength drain. Now we've got the gas trap slightly behind it, Of course, gas trap has to be behind it so that enough enemies still take damage from the aura at once. Because if you place the two on the exact same spot, only the few enemies on the very edge of the gas trap will take any damage. And then even further back, so that it doesn't constantly get set off and need to be recharged all this time, we have a proximity mine, because kobolds are not immune to gas traps. Kobolds are immune to gas trap. Kobolds will just run in and smash your crystal potentially. And also we have enemies coming from this door and this door. It's only the spiders, the ogre choppers, and the djinn that go here. So the way this build is, by standing outside, all the ogre choppers come here instead of inside, because there's nothing inside for them to attack. The djinn also go there, and spiders. But everything else comes here, so that's why we have that extra proximity mine trap for kobolds, and also because more units come from there. Whereas this side, as you'll see, all we have is darkness trap and a gas trap. So that's all we need on this side, because there are way less units come out of that door. Not many strong units, but way less. So we definitely don't need as much firepower. Notice we put one ensnare in the middle. Why is that? Well, it's because this ensnare only needs to catch things that get past the gas trap. So you really don't need two. And the darkness trap covers all the way to the crystal. That's pretty much how we do that. That's how we've efficiently reorganized our defense units on the inside to use the minimal amount possible. Now this won't work for everybody, because you do need very strong auras to be able to kill everything. But as you can see, that's a lot less defense units than building 2 full aura stacks, or building, auras plus a ton of towers and everything else inside. And that leaves us with a lot more room to focus our firepower on the outside. And the other thing is, the more concentrated you are, the more everything can help each other out. All 3 of these minion walls, the majority of the minions can shoot any ogre no matter what wall it attacks. Stupid things in the way. So yeah. So basically they can all help each other out, which is awesome. The towers can fire on more than one location at once. All in all, we get a lot more firepower at each individual choke point or each individual wall compared to if we spread everything out. I hope that helped you guys have a better understanding of how to efficiently reposition your DU. Obviously this is not the only way to build, nor is it always the best way, but it'll definitely get you guys going and get you guys as pro survival builders with a bit of practice. Keep playing and keep having fun.